evening to members of the media. Thanks, Shoots. Congratulations to the boys. Congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns, the football club. I thought we were very good, especially the first 60, 65 minutes. But of course, then once you make so many subs, you dilute a lot of things. But I thought we were good. In fact, I thought we've played even better this season already. I think against Sekhukhune we were much better than today. I thought against the Chiefs much better than today. Also for majority of the match, against Swallows for majority of the match we were much better than today. But today we scored the goals, and that's sometimes what matters the most.
Questions on the floor.
Yes. Coach, I think it was the first start for Lesiba.
Yeah.
Got his Man of the Match award.
Yeah.
In terms of the blending with the team, what can you say about his progression so far?
Yeah, he's been welcomed and well received by his teammates. Good group of human beings, and he's also showed good humility. I know when we signed him, a lot of question marks, but that shows sometimes his trust. Trust. And sometimes, South Africa we are not very patient, but I'm glad he puts in a performance like that when he gets his first start. And he'll get better. There's still a lot of things that we have to improve on him. He'll get better, and he'll settle, and he'll do well. He's got good teammates around him. He's a good human being too, and I'm glad that he scores 2 goals and he gets good trust amongst his teammates.
Coach, I saw Shamilile went off.
Yeah.
Strat there. I mean, maybe you might not know fully the extent of it, but do you have any worries that he could be out for some time?
I've learned not to worry too much. Let's see what happens with the medical assessment, and as soon as they give us feedback, they'll assess him tonight, tomorrow, immediately, and let's see how it goes.
Coach, maybe just as a follow-up to Bravi's question on Lesiba.
Yeah.
Just maybe briefly, what goes behind the scenes? Not much about scouting, but profiling of players. Because Lesiba, to me, I'll be the first to admit, I didn't really make much of him before. The same as the mistake I made, I think, with Neo Mahema.
Yeah.
What kind of work do you guys do in terms of watching other players and profiling and ultimately coming to a decision that this is a Sundowns player, you bring him here and get the best out of him?
Yeah, first I must tell you, my respect for you has grown. Maybe if I had 100%, now I have 150, because it takes a strong human being to admit his mistakes or errors in judgment, and that's amazing to hear. A lot of work behind. First is what we want to try to achieve in terms of how we want to play, and then of course then we've got to see whether or not there are certain situations from a tactical perspective that we are able to develop. So there's potential. That's another thing, and then the human qualities. I spent a lot of time in the off season speaking to him on the phone, trying to get to know him, getting people to tell me about him, getting people who played with him to tell me what type of player he is and human being he is, which is very, very important. And the feeling I got was a feeling that we could be very aggressive. There were other teams that even moved more aggressive than us to try to get him. But I think because we had developed a very good relationship, especially, we were able to bring him this side. And I think there is still a lot more to be seen. A lot of work behind the scenes. And I also have to, as I said even before, to thank the club, because not only for the support in agreeing that this is the right player, but also in working very hard behind the scenes to procure him and to secure him early, like we did with Lucas, like we did with Maseko, like we did with Mendieta, so that we could win the transfer period, and get them day one with us pre-season and working. Unfortunately, he arrived, he had a bit of a niggle with the hamstring. And you understand, because the previous club was fighting Confederations Cup and was also fighting for their league status. So even with injury, they played him because he was one of their most important players. And I can understand that to the eye, and also the profile of the club does not catch the attention, but for sure, there's still a lot more to come from Lisiba, and he's the right player, and he's at the right club with the right teammates and the right brothers around.
Coach, I think maybe first as a follow-up to my question that I asked the other time and answer Bang, that when you create so many chances and you've got a Shaluli now who is your striker and is injured or could be injured, again, do you go back thinking about the question that I asked the other day, in terms of your strikers, to say, is there a need to bring in one because already you've got others who are, either on the hospital table or in the case of Kutumela saying that you still need clarity on them. And then, the other one, Coach, I was looking at the shot at goal and on target against Chiefs, Swallows. It's always twice the number of, opponents, but there's been so much being said about, is Sundowns losing its steam? Is it still the same as last season? Does it frustrate you that we only look at the 1-0 and not the whole picture of the game to say, despite the 1-0 against Swallows, there were about 16 chances created and 8 on target and only 1 went in? Against Chiefs, something similar. Tonight as well, we've got 16 shots at goal and I think 4 scored, 8 on target.
And how many for the opposition? The consistent trend now is that we give 0 chances to the opposition. We limit them into maybe 1. An average now for the last 4 games is only 1. And if they score, Sikukune was a free kick, a mistake that we shouldn't have made. Against Chiefs, the goal we considered was a mistake. In fact, there's 5 errors before that goal comes in, which we've analyzed. And that was their only chance. Against Swallows, no chances. Really, really, really limit the crosses, no shots. And you know how difficult this is. It's so difficult for us. Does it frustrate me? No. Does it concern me? Not necessarily, because unfortunately it reflects a little bit where we have to get to. I listen to people who watch this Sundowns team, and I'm talking people who are not even emotionally attached to me, or emotionally attached to South African football, or even emotionally attached to Sundowns. And the things that they are telling me about how we play and all of this for me is enough, because even the level of criticism is good enough for me to take, and not to be blinded by my connotation or my attachment to this group and to the players. And of course I know we can play better, and of course I know that it's still early in the season, but I'm so impressed with the signs already very early this season. So we just use the energy, whether positive or negative, to just galvanize us and push us to the next level. In relation to the strikers, if we can get Tapelo back quickly, we can get Nasir back also very quickly. I think we are in a decent situation. Of course, we have to look and see whether or not we would go into the market, and so that's a space for the sporting director and the club. So they know my feelings about the squad, and I leave it to that. Yeah, and you said something on Kutu here. Kutu is also requested to go on loan, so we've agreed with Cape Town City, and I just want to officially thank him for his services to the football club and wish him everything of the best.
Sure, Coach. Now I'm on the blog. Coach, I'm not sure if Peter, I think it was a muscle type of injury. It did look like a muscle injury. So with muscle, so far this season, it's been Peter, it's been Mendiet, I think, at the hamstring. Tapelo, I think the club said he had a hamstring as well. And Kuliso looked like a hamstring as well. At this stage of the season, is that a bit worrying that you have 4 muscle injuries, or is from a conditioning point of view? And my second question is, Coach, Rivaldo Coutinho was suspended for the past 2 games. He played such a fantastic game in Polokwane. And today you saw that in the past 2 games, maybe we felt his absence a bit. How important is he for this new system for the season?
Very important, very important. But again, also because the movements have to be in relation to everything else and what we've trained for the entire preseason. You can see when we are comfortable a little bit with each other, with what we know, and automized some of the movements. And of course, River triggers a lot of this first phase, and then a little bit of the second phase in the space where we try to generate some superiorities. So, yeah, River very important, but you know, what's the saying in English? You're only as good as the sum of your parts. You know, so everybody has such an important role to play in our team. It's not just individuals, but of course he brings some very unique qualities that we know we need, and we try to develop. So we use everybody to their strengths and to give the team a good personality. Muscle injuries, no, I'm not so concerned. I think you see it, and I think a little bit we fall a little bit in the space where, because of the traveling also, we traveled quite a bit in preseason. We had our preseason in Rustenburg, then we traveled a lot in Europe. We traveled a lot. Our first game was outside of Holland. So we traveled then. We traveled also in around Holland. The last game was played on the border between Holland and Germany. So, and really we were 10 minutes away from being in Germany, you know. So, and to get there was 1 hour 45 minutes travel. So those things accumulate, and then the games so back to back, and with such a tight schedule, and so yeah, but that's why we've tried to have a team that the squad size that has a little bit of a buffer to accommodate these type of situations. And yeah, Peter will assess, the medical department will give us a report, and they'll treat him, and we'll see how far we can get with that.
Coach, here.
Sure.
Two questions for you. Where do you think, it's still early in the season, is your team where you want it to be? And perhaps if you could give us a percentage where you think that your team is on a scale from 0 to 100. And then this is your last home game for the month, that's what you say. Are you looking forward to playing on other pitches? Because on Saturday when you were here, you were saying that this pitch is a bit bumpy and control for the players is a bit hard. Are you excited to then be playing on other turfs?
Yeah, I don't know how good those turfs are, but we go to PE now to have a very good experience. Normally that pitch is very good. So hopefully we'll see tonight. I think there's a game kicking off there at 7:30, so we'll see tonight how that pitch looks. The only good thing about that is that it gives our staff and the staff of Lucas time to work on the pitch, which I think they also need, because you can't perform miracles while there's also heavy duty and heavy traffic on the pitches. So that's one of the things that we win on that space. Where do I think the team is? I think the team is in a good position. The players know what I think. We can improve, we can play better, and we will improve and we will get better. But also part of getting better and adapting to the new way that we would like to play, with the organizational forms that we'd like to impose during 90 minutes. The most important thing is also to keep winning. And if you look at us in comparison to where some of our rivals are, we've done exceptionally well in relation to that, and we just have to stay focused on ourselves, stay focused, and really try to mute the noise, and continue working hard. This is the only solution for progress and for success: is consistency, intensity, and a high level of work ethic, and we'll get better. We'll get better as the season goes, for sure.
Can we please have the last 3 questions and wrap it up?
Can I ask to close it? So thank you.
Coach, from my side, I saw the players were genuinely happy for Grant when he scored, and then he came to you. You gave him a very a warm, embrace, hug. Is this a sign of what this guy means to his dressing room?
But we do that with all the players. He's a great human being, Grant. He's an unbelievable human being. The true test is not really how we treat you when you're playing and scoring. The true test is how we treat you and how you come across when you are not playing. And this is why they are received like this, is because when they are not playing, it's the same you can say about Dennis Onyango. I mean, he's smiling around the change room. It's the same you can say about Nemo Mahema. He didn't start the first 2 games, but he loved. You can say the same about Tambazwane and Deboho. It's what's important in football clubs is not when things are going your way. How do you behave and how do you come across? It's actually when things are not going your way. And how do you behave and how do you come across? And Toby is one of the people, and many like him, like Rian Peters, like Musa Libusa, Rivaldo Kutsia, Toby Mvala. They are genuinely loved because they support others, and even when it is not their turn, they support others, and that's what the team is about, you know. So Grant, yes, is an example of how you should be as a brother and as a teammate, because then when it is your turn, people celebrate you and support you, and I think that's the most important thing.
Coach, I saw the moving of fixtures, bringing them forward. Is this about accommodating that block of the African Football League, which I'm told that you'll be playing within that space? And also, even though I was in China, but I was listening to, after your first game, you said sometimes you also forget that Maseko is only 19. You think the reaction maybe to how he plays, people also forget. And I mean, the boy, he's only played for less than a month for you, and I'm sure that there's a lot that you are going to work on him.
Yeah, for sure. I try to I live with these players. I'm on the pitch every single, I'm in camp. I spend so much time with these players. I know them very, very well. And I really, with a lot of humility, I don't think anyone knows the team better than I know the team, you know. So when I say the team can still improve, I know exactly what I mean. Sometimes I listen and people say, but why are you not playing Tapelo Morena? But he's injured. So you see, sometimes that's the thing of listening too much to the criticism, because some of the criticism is misinformed. People ask, but why is he taking Shishi out every single match? He's 34, guys. He's playing for a team that's playing every 2-3 days. It's not possible that he can recover and still be fresh after playing 90. So these things, I listen to the criticism, and there's some criticism which is due and is correct, and that criticism I take and I look and I say, but actually that's right. I had a blind spot to this because I was emotional. But there's some that I say to myself, it's not warranted, and then so I don't pay too much attention to it, you know. So it's the same with Maseko. He has to understand that it's, at the end of the day, the most important opinion at the end of the day is his coach's opinion. And when I look at him and I look at how he's playing and how he's developing and how he's improving, there is incredible progress for a short space of time. And we will do that with Mediata, we'll do that with Lesiba Nku. Everyone says, but what a player. But, you know, we have to work on these things. We have to show him how we play. We have to analysis. We were doing analysis last night with Lesiba. This morning we were doing video with Lesiba. And even though he didn't play the previous match, we were cutting clips and showing him what Maseko was doing and some of the information we've been giving to Maseko. And we were showing him even some players from Brentford. And we were only doing this morning after breakfast. So there's a lot of work that goes in at Mamelodi Sundowns. And the people see the things and they say, okay. But really behind the scenes, the players invest so much. And supported by an incredible technical team with incredible work ethic. I'm happy today for the 2 set-piece goals, because I hope Coach Michael Hoffman can get a little bit less stick now. He's really been receiving a lot of also undue stick, so I'm happy that he gets that. But he's also supported by Coach Wendell. He's supported by Coach Mantoma, so I'm very happy for them. And the analysts are doing also a very good job. Mario, Sbu, GV, and Dale as an opposition analyst traveling across the country to give us information about every opponent. So yeah, incredible, the conditioning coaches, the medical department, incredible team effort, and yeah, we have to now focus on some very, very difficult fixtures coming up.
The first question was about the movement.
Yes, no, 100%. Yeah, it's still a little bit of a sketchy one because it's the dates for the African League are not out yet. So we have to try to foresee some of these circumstances. So yeah, 100% correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
Coach, I look at how the players are coming in, not just at Sundowns, but other clubs, and the impatience that comes with it, and so many things that not just yourself but other coaches are talking about. How they need to teach or improve or teach out some of the bad stuff from players and teaching the good stuff. I mean, I see tonight when you made the sub, Obas, you wanted him to play the river role, but then had to swap with Bongani because he wasn't getting it. And I look in comparison with say the Premier League, for example. Newcastle gets a Harvey Barnes, but the system wasn't too different to what he was under Brendan Rodgers, and Liverpool, the new players that they had, not too different, which is why it doesn't take them too long
100%.
to kind of adjust. So does it make it difficult also for you guys here when you look for new players and you can see that there's work that must be done, and sometimes you have to skip and say this is going to take too much time and people are not going to have the patience for it?
No, you can't do that because you're playing with careers of people. It's more, the careers of the players is far more important than my feelings and protecting my career. I mean, these people have a very short career. I can go and coach somewhere else tomorrow, but if the career at Sundowns doesn't work out, he's a failure, and he's already judged as a failure. And then that's 2 or 3 seasons of years gone, and now he's already 30. And all of a sudden, where is he going to go? So as a coach, you've got to be extremely selfless, and you've got to put their careers first and support them as much as you can to develop not just them as footballers, but also at that human level, So no, I always prioritize the growth of the players. You are 100% right. We try to recruit closer to the profile of what we would like to see happening, and not too far from that. But also understanding that we've got to give them support and patience and time. Obas, we asked him to. My biggest thing when I made that change was be fair to Obas. You're already unfair to Obas. In the previous game, you made him play 3 different positions. Now play him in his natural position and let him settle with confidence in the natural position. That's why I made that. And I said, Zungu can take a little bit of the stress. Let me allow Zungu to deal with the stress of an unfamiliar position and trying to settle, because it also assists Obas' transition into the group. So the biggest reason was exactly that, to minus discomfort by assisting him playing in a position that he's very comfortable in, that we don't need too much of pressure, stress, and instructions around, although we've trained and we've adapted him into the way of working. But yeah, and I'm happy now you're a coach. When you are not a coach, you don't get your licenses. You undermine the job of coaches. A lot of people think coaching is very, very easy. It's not a talk show. Coaching is not a talk show. Coaching is rolling up your sleeves and handling, especially at Sundowns, handling precious jewels. You're dealing with people's careers. And this is their ability to feed their families and look after the lives of the people that depend on them. And a lot of people think that is very easy. It's very, very difficult. But yeah, the people like yourself who go through the channel and go and get their coaching licenses, they then get to understand how difficult it really is. But anyway, that's how life is, isn't it?
I'm also going for my purchase coach.
Congratulations, and I wish you all the best.